Guess so. Hello, everybody. It is Monday, October 30th. It's just after 7:30, and this is my very impromptu booking talk. There were a couple of people, saying they were struggling with getting dates in the calendar. So I figured rather than talk to everybody individually, I'd record something and hope that it answers a lot of your questions. Okay, so I have a little screen share. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Here we go. Okay, so everybody wants to have a filled calendar, right? And when you think of a filled calendar, I want you to think of a 30-day span. So we're at the end of October, so you might look at the month of November. Or if you're going to be gone the first week of November, you could look at, from like the 8th of November to the 8th of December. Pick a 30-day period of time that you are going to focus on booking. And then decide how many parties you want in that month. Okay? Now write down the number of how many bookings you need to meet that number. If you've already got a couple of November bookings, count that in. Subtract that from the total. And then you take that number and you multiply it by 8. Anybody know why we're multiplying that number by 8?
Just by responses?
Well, let's say that you want to have 10 parties in the month of November and you have 2. That means you need 8 more parties to meet your goal, correct?
Yes. So
we're going to multiply that number by 8. That's 64. That reflects the number of people you need to talk to in order to get 8 bookings. Okay? This is key because I think the number one mistake that people make, I certainly made it myself, most consultants don't have the bookings they want. Not because they're doing something wrong, but because they're not doing enough of the right thing. We can say all the right stuff. If we only say it to 4 people, statistically, we're going to get 0 bookings. So you have to do it enough. Okay, so I think that's one big thing that people need to embrace. 1 out of every 6 to 8 people is going to say yes. Another big concept when you're thinking about bookings, you want to make it fun, easy. You want to personalize it and make it timely. And what I mean by that is when you're talking to someone about a party, well, if you're at a show, make your show fun, interactive. Make it easy for the host to do. Ask the host at the show, so was this hard? Oh my gosh, no, you set up the event for me, you created a link, people click to shop. Make it obvious to the other people in the room that you're doing all the heavy lifting, and we know it's not even heavy because Pampered Chef makes it so easy for us, but make it known that this is not like planning a wedding. Okay? That we're their wedding planner, okay? And we come for free with the party with us. Make it personal, meaning when we're reaching out, whether it's at the show or outside of a show to get a booking, you want to make it personal. I'd love to help you get what you want from the party. I saw how you were eyeing that rock crock. I would love to help you get that in the month of November at 60% off. Okay? If you're offering a special in a month, you reach out to people and say, I can only offer this special to 3 people. If I'm going to give this away to someone, I would love for it to be you. Okay? What theme do you think you and your friends would enjoy? A death by chocolate? A dinner and a dash? Again, you're personalizing it. And then make it timely. We can talk up the benefits of hosting, but people can get free products, half-price items any time of year. So are we making a point of, putting a spotlight on why the month we want to book is a great month? In November, it's a no-brainer. Oh my goodness, have your party now. You and your friends can get your products for the holidays. We'll probably get a lot of outside orders because there's people who need quick, easy gift ideas. Okay. And the other thing I mean by making it timely is when I'm at a show or when I'm reaching out to people outside of the show to try to get bookings, I always put a little something in it for them if they schedule in the next 24 to 48 hours. So I might say, I'll talk up the Rock special and the fact that if they have their party in early November, not only will their friends get their products in time for Christmas, but also for Thanksgiving and all the baking they're going to be doing. And by the way, you know, if you choose a date in the next 24 hours, I'll supply the ingredients for the party. What do you think? Okay, so it's something timely that they need to take action on right away. Because think of how many texts, Facebook messages, emails, phone calls people get in just a 24-hour period. And people nowadays, gone are the days 10 years ago when we came home at night, got the kids to bed, and then sat down and listened to our voice messages and checked our email for the day and wrote everything down and responded. People are everywhere with their phones. So they get a message when they're in the middle of the grocery store or picking up a kid from school. They're not going to remember that by the time they get home because they will have also received 6 or 8 more by that time. They're talking to their child about, you have a what due tomorrow? You need poster board? I guess we're taking a left here and driving and grabbing whatever. So you never know what mini crisis they had. So if there's nothing timely that makes them put this to the top of their priority list, chances are we won't hear back from them. Okay. The next thing is most people, especially if we're reaching out to them outside of a show and it's out of the blue to them, but even at a party, whether it's live or virtual, people are going to have hesitations. That's normal. Be ready for it. Okay. So what do you guys think when you're at a party, let's say, or you're talking to someone outside of a show and you talk a little bit about it and you say, what do you think? And they'd say, oh, I'd love to, but I can't, or I can't do it right now, or I'm sorry, I don't do shows. What do you hear?
I hear that they're afraid or they just think it's a lot of work.
Okay, so you're hearing that they might have a hesitation. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
If you're hearing no from this, these aren't no's. I mean, it doesn't mean that all of them are going to definitely book. Sorry, I'd love to, but I can't is, I think of what follows the but is a hesitation that they may or may not be expressing outwardly. So if there's a but in that sentence, whatever follows is a hesitation. And if I have a solution for the hesitation and the but is gone, then all we have in that first sentence is, I'd love to. Okay? So when someone says to me, I'd love to, but I just can't. If they say, I don't want to have a party, okay, I'll honor that. But if they say, I'd love to, but I can't, I say, really? Oh my gosh, now what makes you say that? Why do you think you can't? Okay? You've got to find out what the hesitation is, or you can't offer a solution. If you can't offer the solution, all you have is the but I can't. If you find a solution, you have the I'd love to. Okay? If someone says, I can't do a show right now, they're not saying no, never. They're saying not now. And if I'm at a party, at a full service checkout, my favorite thing to say is, oh, I can't do a show right now either. If I packed up, I'm not done with this one. If I packed up and left right now, Elaine would be really mad at me. And then I'll just say, when were you thinking you'd like to have it? Did you want to get in on that Rock special? Because it's really amazing when someone says, I can't have a party right now. They're often thinking just in the next couple of weeks. If they say, oh, no, can't do it in November. Okay, what about December? Well, I could probably do December. Or I could, if they say not now, I say, that's okay, I can't do it right now either. When were you thinking? Do you think that sounds threatening or pushy?
No, it's a question.
Right. They're the ones who said not now. If they said no, a firm no, I'm going to honor that. But if they say not now, the natural question is, okay, when? When were you thinking? You know? Now, for the people who say, I don't do shows.
That's a hard one for me.
It is for me too. And sometimes if I'm at a party, I say, oh, I don't do shows. I say, oh, but you come to them. Oh, I love to come to them. And then I say, so you've been to quite a few, huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Then you have all these people that owe you because you've been to their parties. I'm just so curious. Why don't you like to do them? Or why do you feel like you don't want to do them? Or why don't you do them? Or something along those lines. But first I plant the seed. I get them to acknowledge that they come to them and like them. I get them to acknowledge that they've got all these people that owe them a favor. And then I say, so why is it you don't do them? Oh, I don't know. I feel like, and usually what they say is, I don't like to obligate my friends to spend money. And I say, oh, you're just inviting them to a Pampered Chef party. You're not obligating them to a thing. They can say no, thank you. But do you like Pampered Chef? Yeah. And you can't go to a store and order it. So aren't you glad that people actually have these parties so you get to see what's new and get to try them out? Yeah. Well, do you imagine you might have some friends who might think the same way? I don't know. What do you think? And I just throw the what do you think out there. So after I offer a solution, I say, what do you think? Okay. So here's actually the steps when you hear hesitation. First, you want to clarify to make sure you're understanding their hesitation. And then you want to acknowledge how they're feeling, letting them know, it's okay to feel that way. I am feeling. Then offer a solution, and then re-invite them to have a party. So if somebody says, so Elaine, you be my pretend host or potential host. So I've just asked you if you wanted to have a party in the month of November. You're going to just throw out a hesitation that you hear.
I am just so busy, Karyn.
Oh, Elaine, I totally get where you're coming from. We are a crazy busy culture. So I'm curious, though, do you feel like you don't have time to plan the Pampered Chef party, or do you feel like you don't have 2 hours on one day to have the Pampered Chef party?
I just don't have time to plan a Pampered Chef party.
Oh, I get it. So because I feel like, you could be walking away from a $200 to $300 shopping spree, before you make your decision final, can I tell you how easy I make it for you to plan it? Because I really, unlike your personal party planner, I do 90% of it. Can I tell you how easy I make it?
Okay.
And then I would explain to Elaine that I'm going to set the party up on my website and create a link for her. I'm going to send it to her to look it over. And if she gives me the thumbs up, she can then text it to people or email it to people. I'm going to tell her that I'm also going to set up an event on Facebook. And then I will invite her and make her the host. I will post. And all she has to do is click to invite her friends and check in for 2 to 3 minutes a day just to kind of respond. So really, if she's got little pockets of time, 2 to 3 minute pockets of time, that's it. I'm going to do all the heavy lifting. Okay? So I'm acknowledging first I'm clarifying. Is it that she doesn't have time to plan the party or doesn't have time to set it to plan? So now I'm going to acknowledge that. Yeah, I hear you. A lot of people feel that way. Then I offer a solution. And now I'm going to say, so Elaine, does that sound like something you could do? Just a few minutes a day to have a $200 to $300 shopping spree? What do you think?
I think I can do a couple of hours, yeah.
So, and notice I'm saying to Elaine, what do you think? Because that is not a yes or no question. When you re-invite, don't say, so what do you think? You want to book? Because then it's a yes or no, and if they're still nervous, they're going to say no. But if you say, so Elaine, that doesn't sound too difficult, right? What do you think? Then they'll say, well, I guess that sounds easy enough. But if they have another hesitation, they're going to bring it up. Okay? And oftentimes people have a couple of hesitations. Okay, so clarify, acknowledge, offer a solution, and re-invite. Okay, so here's an example of it. My house is too small. Oh, is your house too small, or is your kitchen too small? because we don't need to be in the kitchen. We just need access to a kitchen. Okay, so you're trying to find out, is their kitchen too small? Is your house too small? And if they say their house is too small, oh, I understand that. I hear that a lot. And you know what works for a lot of people? Well, maybe co-hosting with a family or friend or coworker that has a bigger place. Do you think you know someone, a family member or close friend that would let you use their place, or maybe someone that would want to co-host with you? And that's just one solution. And then again, I don't say, so do you want to host? I say, what do you think? Or how does that sound to you? Okay? And I will tell you, you guys, most of the people who are scheduled in my calendar had a hesitation, and we had conversations like this. Okay? What other hesitations are you guys hearing that you wish you had solutions for?
Well, you answered the house is too small.
This is too small, too busy. What are you hearing?
I often hear my weekends are dedicated to my family.
And I say, oh, great, because I love midweek shows. I find most people aren't busy then. I do Tuesdays and Thursdays. Would either of those work for you? I hardly ever do parties on weekends. And people tend to do Sure, Cindy.
I was just trying to think about what, happens at the shows that I'm at. I think my biggest thing is trying to get them into a conversation just one-on-one like that.
Okay.
Where I'm talking to just one person rather than the whole group.
Okay, so that's a great point. Think about where you're doing your checkout. When I arrive at a show, the first thing I do is decide where I'm going to cook. I make sure the host has all the ingredients in case there's something missing. She has time to text somebody who's coming to bring it with them. The very next thing I do is decide where I'm doing the checkout. And I have the nearest teenager sign in my laptop to get online, okay? So I am ready for that checkout. And I am looking for a spot that is not in the thick of things. I want to be a little bit separate so I can have a one-on-one conversation with people. I love the express checkout because they can type in all the information, but they cannot leave till they see me. So they still have to talk to me with the express checkout. So I love it. Okay, but even without that, because I had a bunch of people yesterday, I think the median age was 75 to 80. Actually, that was Saturday morning brunch. Most of them brought their orders to me. But I tell them at the end of the party, I say, okay, everybody, thanks again for coming. While you're eating and shopping, let me know if you have any questions. I've got my laptop set up over here to take your orders. Do not stand in line. That's no fun. That's like the grocery store, and this is supposed to be a party. When you're ready, just come up. If I'm already working with someone, put your order face down here, and I'll call you when it's your turn. Is there anybody who needs to leave right away and needs to be first? Okay, why don't you come on out? If your demo's 45 minutes, and your party starts at 6:30, 6:45, it's only 7:30. Most people who have kids are thinking, I'm not leaving now. My kids will be awake. I'm here till at least 8 o'clock. So, and most people, even after they get their order processed, they don't leave right away. They go back to the party. They're just coming up and getting it processed so that when they're ready to leave, they don't have to worry about getting the order done at that point. So take control over that checkout so that you've got time to have that one-on-one conversation. Now, not everybody's going to want to have a party. Some people are going to be no, and you will know a firm no when you hear it. So it's not like we're having these conversations with every single person. Some of them come up and they're a yes, and you're just having a quick conversation about a date. Okay, there's only going to probably be 3 or 4 people that have a sincere hesitation where you're having this kind of conversation with them. But yes, and one of the things when you guys didn't share a hesitation right away, or Cindy, when you were thinking about a hesitation, I thought, I wonder if the broken link is before that. If you're not able to get to that conversation, you can't possibly offer a solution. You can have all the solutions ready at the drop of a hat, but if you don't know which one they need, then you can't do it. So Now, a lot of people say, oh, I'm channeling my inner Karyn or my inner Michelle or whoever their director is. Do you wish you could have your director's words on the tip of your tongue at all times? Well, I updated, there was an idea that was created by, oh my gosh, who's the one that makes all the cupcakes? Sarah. And she's also a teacher. And she came up with these hesitation cards that has hesitation on one side and the solutions on the other. Okay. I have put them in the Battey downline group. I think they're also in the Weinstein group as well. And if somebody's listening and you can't find them, go look under the files section and put in booking hesitation cards, and it should bring you to that file. So you can print them out and cut them up. And then you'll have the hesitation on one side, and if you flip it over, there's the clarifying question and a couple of solutions for about 5 or 6 hesitations. 3 of them are the most common ones we hear 80% of the time. Another couple of hesitations are things we hear moderate amounts of time. And if you have a hesitation that you don't know how to deal with it, don't sit on it and throw your hands up in the air and say, oh, I guess I'm not going to get a booking. Contact your director, post it in your on your team group and say, how would you guys respond to this? And then make up a card for that so that next time that happens, you're armed and ready. Okay? Because if you don't practice this, you'll never get good at it. When we're talking about getting bookings at shows, whether they're live or virtual, make it fun. Okay? And plant seeds. People book for 5 reasons. And we tend to just hammer on the free, the free product. Fun is actually the #1 reason why people book. Okay? Fun. Fun, free, friends, favor, and food are the 5 F's. So fun, they'll book because they're having a good time. You don't have to talk about it, just make it a fun environment. Free for free product, I think we all know how to talk that up. They'll book because it's time with their friends. So plant that seed. Are you guys having fun tonight? It's so hard to find time to spend time with all of our friends. We tend to get together with friends one at a time, but now with the holidays coming up, wouldn't it be great to have all your friends over on one night? Okay? They do it as a favor to help the host. So I always say, when you book your party tonight, did you know that Elaine is going to get a half-price item at your party? And then I'll also look at Elaine and say, Elaine, we were talking before your party. What is it you said you wanted to get at half price when someone booked? Was it the knife block set? Because I talk to my host when setting up the party. Whether it's live or virtual, you can find out from the host, hey, I'm going to talk this up. What would you choose? What is the biggest item you would choose at half price if someone booked? Because your friend who books, your first friend who books, the closest in show, you're going to order that on, and they're going to get credit for that order. So if they say knife block set, I don't even know how much the new one is. It's like $380 something. So it's like a $170 order on their party. Now this host knows that's a really cool thing because this current host has been collecting orders. Now she's like, oh, that would be awesome. Okay? The other thing you want to do is brag the objections. You can do it virtually in a post or with a video, or you can do it right in the front of the room. I tend to do this right after I go, I have them flip over to the back of their catalog, and I'm kind of reviewing the host rewards, and I remind them of the 60% off special of the month. And then I'll say something like, now I know what some of you might be thinking. That sounds great, but oh my goodness, the holidays are coming up and I'm so busy. And then I'll say to them, but think about it. Thanksgiving is the end of November, and I don't know about you guys, but I really can't cook or bake until a few days before. And I really can't clean until about 1 or 2 days before. So really, all you're doing in the first 3 weeks of November is going, wow, it's going to be busy. So what if you had a Pampered Chef party that I am going to do all the heavy lifting to create. I'm going to create the link, set it up on my party. I'm going to create the Facebook event, and you're just going to click to invite your friends or click to give them that link via email or text. Invite your friends that way. We'll pick a recipe together. You unlock the door, let me in, obviously, that's important. But, you know, then it's 2 hours on a Wednesday night in November when you and your friends can get together, get some gifts done maybe, get some products that you need that are going to make your lives easier during this busy holiday season, and maybe learn a couple of quick recipes that you'll be able to use with your family and friends as well. Okay? And again, if they say, I love to, but, it means they'd love to if they had a solution for their hesitation. Now, use the booking credit, okay? So if you're talking to someone, you're communicating with someone, and it's connected to a Facebook party or a live party, and they don't want to book right away, I tell them, well, you don't have to book tonight, but if you happen to choose a date before I close with Mary, it'll mean a half-price item for her at your party. So how about if I give you a few dates that work on my end, and then you can check your calendar to see if any of them work on your end. What are you thinking of? And if I want to book November, I'll say, did you want to get in on that Rock special? If they say yes, I say, great, I do my parties on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Which one of those is likely to work for you? They usually know maybe what absolutely won't work. Oh, I can't do Tuesdays. I have pottery on Tuesday nights. Or I can't do Thursdays because I always go to yoga that night. Okay. You know, so now we're looking at Tuesdays or Fridays. You know, and then I'll say, what day is payday at your work? Oh, Friday. Oh, well, then why don't we look at Fridays? Oh, gee, I have one left. It's this. Oh, okay, I'll take that. Okay, very often people will say they can't pick a date, not because they don't want to, but because they think it's going to be difficult. But once we ask a couple clarifying questions, did you want to get in on the Rock deal? Do you want a Tuesday, Thursday, or Friday, which is likely to work better? Hey, Elaine, glad you're back. Okay, and usually if you ask a couple of clarifying questions, and then if they say they'd like a Tuesday or Friday, well, chances are you don't have that many of them open. Another thing I'd love to say is, how often do you get paid? Because a lot of people get paid every other week. So if they get paid on a Thursday or a Friday, and they're looking at a Friday, well, there's only 2 of them that are near a payday. And maybe one of them you already have booked. So now there's just one left. And they're like, oh, it's a Friday and we get paid at work. Great, I'll take that. And they're taking it because they're excited. That feels like a really good date to do, because they're going to get orders from those people at work. So they're not picking a date because their arm was twisted or they're pressured. They're picking a date because all of a sudden, with a few clarifying questions, a date that they were excited about just kind of bubbled up. So oftentimes, even though you said you don't have to book tonight, they do. Or worst case scenario, now they've got 2, maybe 3 dates that they're going to go and check their work schedule and get back to you in the next day or 2. Kiss of death, by the way, is when they say, I got to go check with all of my friends. Because I tell them what's going to happen is you are not going to find a date that works for all of them. And then you're going to be forced to choose a date that you know isn't going to work for everybody. And when you do, the people that you invite that said they couldn't do that day are going to think, guess I wasn't high enough up on the friend list because she picked a date that she knew wouldn't work for me. And then you're not going to get outside orders from those people. So I tell them, if there's 1, maybe 2 people that you want to check with, okay, but don't check with the rest. Check with those 1 or 2 key people and then invite the world. Believe me, it'll work for about 1/3 of the people that you invite. It's almost like clockwork. But the other people who can't come won't feel slighted because they didn't tell you ahead of time that that date wouldn't work for them. And then they're very likely to place outside orders if they need something. Okay, so obviously we're getting close to the holiday season. So some things that you can sort of market and really talk up are Black Friday parties. They can be during the day because a lot of people have that Friday off. If you are around and willing and able to do parties, you could offer one during the day or the evening. You can offer express shows. These are great in the month of December. And again, you're going to brag the projection from the front of the room, whether that's virtual or live, and say, I know how busy everybody is in the month of December. But think about it. What are you doing on the first Tuesday of December? Probably not much. You're probably thinking, oh my goodness, I have so much to do. I'm so behind. So how about have an express show? Okay, if it's a live express show, I'm going to come over and we are going to do just a 15-minute play with the products thing. So people can come over, they can stay 5 minutes and just see what's new and leave, or they can stay for a 15-minute demo, eat a quick thing together, and then check out the products. And if they need to, they can be out in a half hour. In and out, boom, boom, boom. Okay, so on that Tuesday, they can get a couple of recipes that are going to save them a lot of time over the holidays, or great recipes that they'll be able to take to upcoming holiday parties, or they're going to be able to maybe get some Christmas shopping done at the same time on a Tuesday without going all the way to the mall and fighting the crowds. Okay, in December, I offer midweek shows. If you want to do a virtual express party, that's instead of running it over a week's time, you're just going to run it for 1 hour, or excuse me, 1/2 hour, boom, 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 post in a half an hour time. From 7:30 to 8 or 8 to 8:30, pick one night, and you just say, show up for that 1/2 hour, and you let them know if they place their order in that half hour time that their name will go in a drawing for a special free something. And of course you can keep it open after that time, but you want to really not let on to the fact that you want them to place orders ahead if they can't make it to that.
You're up.
Okay. Individual shows. Do you know what this is?
No.
Okay, this is huge around the holidays. It's for people who want to buy a lot of Pampered Chef Christmas gifts. They're going to spend a lot of money on Pampered Chef. Guess what? 200 in sales is a party. Okay, an individual show. It's nothing you're going to hear from the home office. I just made it up years ago when somebody at a party said to me, okay, I want cookware at half off, but I don't want to have a party. So I said, really? You don't want to have a party? Why not? And she just was like, I'm not having one. Okay. You could do a catalog show. A catalog show is, and she's like, no, I'm not even doing a catalog show, but I want cookware at half off. And at the time, you needed a $300 party to get a half price item. And I said, well, the only thing I can think of, because this was before Facebook, that's how long ago this was. I said, the only thing else I can think of is spend $300. And that can be a guest order, and then you're the host and you get cookware at half off. She's like, okay. I nearly fell off my chair. I did not expect her to say okay to that. She says, I've got 3 daughters and 3 daughters-in-law. I'll spend $50 a piece on Pampered Chef products for them. Then I'll get my cookware. So about a day and a half later, she called me with her order. We set it all up as a show. And afterwards, I said, okay, now you have this much in free and this much of a discount. She's like, what? She thought all she was getting was cookware at half off. So individual parties. So talk that up to people. If they want a rock at 60% off, but they don't have a party, well, hey, do they have some Christmas shopping to do? Or do they have a sister or a mom who has some Christmas shopping to do? They can buddy up with one other person, come up with a guest order that's 200 in sales, and then they've got the 60% off, the half off item, 20 and free. Okay? So
I'm doing something like that. Karyn, I know that you've seen it. I'm not sure if Cindy has, but I'm doing the layaway thing.
oh, okay, yeah.
And I'm closing 3 of them in the first week of December.
So do you want to quickly explain that?
Well, what I did is I broke it up in October, November, and then the last payment in December. I broke it up. And what they're doing is they went around and they asked a bunch of their friends if they wanted some things too, but they have a list of themselves that they asked their spouse to buy for. So their spouse is the ones that are actually paying me, but they're going to get the party credit.
Yeah.
I have one order that's $600.
Whoa.
So it's working great because people like layaway and
Yeah.
husbands like layaway because when you give them a big list like that, they're like, holy cow, I can't get you $600 worth of Pampered Chef stuff. What are you,
Right.
crazy? But they say, but you can break it up in 3 easy payments.
Yep.
So what I do is I just put it in my bank account. I attach it to a special form. I'm going to make an invoice out this week, and I just mail it to them that they've made their first payment, their second payment, and it's working great. It's working great. I message the husband and say, hey, it's time for your payment. You know, don't forget. And they send it to me. They send me a check.
And you know what? After Christmas, we can talk that up for Valentine's Day, for Mother's Day, for anniversaries, birthdays. Yeah. So that's a great
It's a way to get a show. It's a show and
600. That's a nice
Yeah.
show. Yeah. Awesome. Now, the other thing that you're going to hear this time of year is that people want to wait till after the holidays. So if they say, oh, call me in the new year, I'll say, wow, oh my gosh, you want to do your party in the new year? You want to hear what you can do? Okay. Well, I can give you a couple catalogs now because chances are some of your friends are going to need some things for the holidays. They're going to need some teacher gifts, some other Christmas gifts or whatever. So you can do a quick little pass of the catalog, just 200 sales and it's a show. Then you can book off of yourself for January. Now, I don't know what the specials are going to be, but usually Pampered Chef reserves the best host bonus of the year for January. And very often they offer something as an extra bonus item for people who book before the 10th. Would you like to pick out a date now so I can get you in my calendar before the 10th of January? Because those dates will fill up quickly as soon as it's announced. So I get them to book if they don't want the first 10 days, I'll say, well, we can go later in the month. If they say, oh, but are people going to want to have a party? I go, oh, yeah, they are because they got money for Christmas and they got their tax returns at the end of the month. Oh, right. Yeah. So, yeah. And they usually offer the best host bonus of the year. So I get them to book. And then I get them to do a catalog party in January. I'm on direct ship now, so I actually set them up for their January show. And their friends can place December orders. They're shipped right away. It still counts toward their January party. And then those same friends can come back and order in January. So if anybody's on direct ship now, feel free to do that. Okay. Now, do you guys think that I ever have a show cancel?
Oh yeah.
Yes, I do.
We all.
Yes, we all do. Do you think I have shows that don't hit 200 in sales? Yep. Do I get hosts that are absolutely uncoachable, that aren't going to take me?
I'm sure about that.
Yes, I do. But I overbook. And then I don't linger on those hosts. I tend to get calls from people or messages from consultants when they say, I have this host, she's at 180, I've given her every idea I can, what should I do? But I'll tell you what I'm not hearing. I've never, ever, ever heard once. Nobody's ever called me and say, Karyn, I have a show that's at 700, I'd love her to get to 1,000. What can I do? We tend to just take those hosts that are doing great and go, yay, they're doing great. And we don't spend extra time with them, but we tend to spend extra time with the person who's at 180. I will tell you right now, it's easier to coach a $700 host to 1,000 than it is very often to coach a $180 host to 200. So put your time with the receptive and excited host. And if they're at 700, oh my gosh, you're only 300 away from a kilo. That's like 5 or 6 orders. Let's talk about what else we can do. Okay, so spend your time with the excited and receptive hosts. Help them go as far as they can. Okay, so we got about 4 minutes for Q&A. I'm sorry, that took longer than I thought it was going to do, but I only just decided to do this training yesterday, so it was pretty off the cuff. Any questions or comments?
I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned making your host on your Facebook, the host.
Yeah.
You know, I have not been able to do that. I can only do co-host.
Co-host, that's what I mean. I make her.
Oh,
Yep.
I just didn't know if there was a difference. So I just
Yep,
wanted to
no.
clarify that.
Good clarifying question, thanks. Yep, go ahead, Cindy.
I have a question. How about if, you know, you're at the party and somebody sort of thinks they might want to do a show and you have their information to maybe call them later? What would you do when you call the person?
Oh, okay. I would call them up and say, hey, it's Karyn Battey with the Pampered Chef. We met at Elaine's party a little while ago. And at the time you were thinking you maybe wanted to have a party, but it wasn't a great time. And I was just reaching out because, oh my goodness, they have really let out the stops for November. Would you like to hear what they're offering?
Okay.
So when I'm calling somebody up, and this is a great thing, when I'm reaching out to somebody out of the blue, whether it's via text, Facebook message, or a phone call, and it's not really out of the blue, but it's kind of out of the blue. I'm not going to launch into, so you didn't want to have a party then, how about now? Okay, so my question is not going to be, do you want to have a party? I try to ask 3 questions that are easy to say yes to. Okay, first I'm enticing you. Oh my gosh, it wasn't a good time, but you are going to be so glad because they are really letting out the stops for November. Do you want to hear what they're doing? So that's easy to say. Oh gosh, I wanted to hang up, but sure, you can tell me what they're doing. Okay, remember that rock you saw? Yeah. Well, just for breathing and having a party in November, you can get either a single rock or like the combo sets with the stand at 60% off just for breathing, in addition to all the usual host benefits. And it's the holidays. And then I'll say something like, and do you want to hear what themes I'm offering? Again, that's easy to say yes to. Okay, now they like the rock. And they're like, well, I'm not sure I have time, but sure, you can tell me about the themes. Then I pick 1 or 2 themes, just a couple of themes to kind of talk up in watering detail. Well, you know, in November, I offer a harvest theme show. I make this amazing salted caramel apple spice cake with fresh whipped cream, and I sweeten the whipped cream with maple syrup. It is amazing. And they're like, oh, that sounds good, you know. And then I said, and of course, there's always the ever favorite, you know, Death by Chocolate. And they're like, oh gosh, that sounds good too. And I'll say, but you know, it is around the holidays, so we could do easy and elegant appetizers. I don't know, it's a tough decision. What jumps out at you? You know, and they're like, oh, that salted caramel really sounded really different. And I go, oh my gosh. And do you know how long it takes to cook? 10 minutes. Really? Yeah. I bet your friends would really enjoy learning that, huh? Well, then I'll say, do you want to hear what dates I have open? If they say, yes, I want to hear what dates you have open, they're going to book. But they don't ever have to say, yes, Karyn, I want to have a party. So do you want to hear what Pampered Chef is offering? You want to hear what specials I'm offering or theme shows I'm offering? Want to hear what dates I've got open? Maybe one of them would work for you. We're just looking for like a 2-hour pocket of time. Want to hear what dates I got open? So I try to baby step them through it. I'm glad you asked that question because I did want to cover a little bit about how to get bookings outside of shows. So yeah, you can call all those people back who said, oh, I can't have a party right now. Or I want to have a party and maybe we lost track of them. And believe me, I call people back that I totally lost track of. I just called someone the other day that I met at the Hopkinton Fair in the end of August. And she put a 9 for a show. I did call her like twice right after the fair, but then I didn't ever follow up with her again. And by the way, statistics show we have to follow up with people 6 times before we get them on the phone. Most people give up after 3. I usually give up after about 5, but then I heard that, and now I'm trying to make myself go for that 6th time because they say that's when 80% of the people will book, after 6 times of reaching out. Yes, Cindy.
So would that include, like, say I sent, like, so I had some people say, oh, send me a text message. They're for sure going to book a show.
Mm-hmm.
Send me a text message. I hear nothing. I send a postcard. Nothing. So I should just I was thinking of just going through and calling them.
Yep.
So you said 6 contacts.
6 contacts. Okay. Yep. Is average.
The same person.
And,
okay.
Yes, the same person 6 times. Okay. And the other thing I do is I don't wait a week in between because they've forgotten all about the one before. If I've met them at a party and they said they want to book, they're going to hear from me every single day till they book or tell me no. Okay. And you know what? It works.
It does. My host, I had a friend that was buying $200 of stuff, and I asked her at least 6 times if she wanted to have a show, and she had her show finally this past Sunday.
Well, and even
it worked.
Even at the party, when people say they want to have a party, it usually takes multiple times of reaching out. So I just, and I tell them when I'm closing the party, would it be okay if I reached out before then so that their host can get credit? And they say, yep. And usually the first 2 times I reach out, I don't hear back from them. I am not waiting days. I am waiting 12 to 24 hours before I reach out again. And on the day that we're closing the party, they're going to probably hear from me twice. Hey, you know, it's Karyn Battey with the Pampered Chef. This is what I say the first time. I was just reaching out. I know you were thinking about a party, and I know we had talked about November. You had said that you wanted the party to be in time for Thanksgiving, so I'd given you a couple dates early in the month. Just wondering if you had had a chance to check out whether you want the 8th or 11th, and just let me know which of those works for you. So notice, before they've left, I have narrowed them down, and that is a big, big, big thing. Because now they're just looking at the 8th or 11th. They're not thinking, I want to have a party someday, and there's 365 days in the year, and oh my goodness, what's going to be the perfect one? I've already narrowed them down. But I reach out again, and I try different ways. Even though I ask them what's the best way to reach you, if they say text, I'll text them a couple times. The next day I'll say, hey, have you had a chance to check your calendar yet? I still have the 8th and 11th open. And then the next day, hey, I was going to be closing with Elaine tomorrow. I really want her to get credit if you end up booking. I've got the 8th and 11th open, but I just had a party last night, and I have someone looking at the 11th. So if that's a date you want, I need to hear back from you like ASAP. That's usually when all of a sudden, But then I will also, at that point, email them, message them on Facebook, and try the whole sort of barrage. And what I hear over and over and over again is, thank you so much for reaching out. I got so busy, I forgot to get back to you. Yes, please, I want the 11th. Or please, I'll take the 8th. Very rarely do they message me back and say, I changed my mind, I don't want to have a party. Okay, so narrow them down as best you can. If you haven't got them narrowed down, reach out. If they say they want to hear from me by text, I still reach out and say, I know you were thinking about having a party before. Apparently it ended up not being the right time, but oh my goodness, Pampered Chef is really letting out the stops for November. Do you want to hear what they're offering as a bonus? I don't just send the bonus. I ask them first. I try to engage them, not throw up information on them. So now they're sitting there looking and going, wonder what it is. Letting out all the stops, huh? You know, so, okay, what's the special? And then I'll pop it in there. I'll say, isn't that amazing? Can you believe that? That's just for breathing. And hey, I've got some great themes. Want to hear about them? And depending on who it is, if they say yes, I'll say, it's really a little too much to type. Do you have like 2 minutes to talk? And they might tell me, call me tonight or whatever. So yeah, so it's a lot of outreach, but I will have to tell you, don't think you have to be as smooth at it as I am, because I'll tell you what, it's still only about 1 out of every 6 to 8 people that books with me. And it's really much, much more about how many people we reach out to than what we say. Okay, I mean, it's nice to have it be comfortable and have the words just roll off your tongue, but much more important is to reach out, reach out, reach out. And you've got to engage people, because just like blasting a text or a Facebook message that is copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, I mean, that works sometimes to get us a booking, but that's not really you've got to connect with 6 to 8 people to get one yes. So, you know, in connecting, meaning having a conversation. Did you guys find this helpful?
I did. It was a great refresher. Can I just share with Cindy my surprise bags?
Oh, yes, please
so
do.
Well for me.
We're recording this, so you're going to be sharing it with everybody.
Cindy, at my last party, I had a big party in PA, and I did a little over $1,000 in sales. And I'm going to tell you, when I introduced myself, I had my host packets. I had 3 host packets that were in party bags, tied up with ribbon, looking beautiful. And I got little foam stars, and I wrote the date of the available dates that I have that I needed to fill, like right away, coming up. And I called them my rock star dates. So what I did was, nobody knew what those were. They were all talking about it. They're like, what's in the bags? Are you going to get prizes this time? So they didn't know. So after my introduction, I said, bet you're all wondering what's in those bags over there. And I said, those are special bags. Those are my rock star party bags. Inside, I put a little thank you gift for booking. I said, inside each one of those bags is a gift. And if you take one of those bags before the end of the show, and it has to be before the end of the show, and bring it with you and check out, you're going to get to keep that bag with a prize inside. all 3 of those bags were gone before I even started my demo. And I let them know that I had more. I did have other packets in my bag, but those were my Rockstar bags.
I love that idea. And if
And
you
they
get-
were gone, and I
What
have
did you have
3
for a
shows.
gift?
I put in, believe it or not, a little mini whisk or a citrus peeler. They were just really inexpensive gifts, and they loved them.
and they didn't
were
know what was in
excited.
the gift.
They
So
did
really
not
that's-
know. No.
Yeah.
And they didn't open them either until they left.
And
They
you know,
weren't
the other
open.
thing is, if you go to the dollar store, they have beautiful holiday bags. So like if I saw a nice bag, I'd be thinking, even if I'm not crazy about the gift, I'll reuse that bag and it'll be under my tree. You know? So sometimes you just like the bag and the bow. So that's a fabulous idea. Elaine, thank you for
You're
sharing.
welcome.
Like I said,
It worked. It worked for me, and I used it this past weekend, and it worked for me. So I'm just gonna keep going with that for a while.
Right.
Until I get bored with it, and I'll find something else. But
Valentine's
my
Day
guests weren't
ones and-
bored. So,
Yep,
and
absolutely.
the other thing to get them engaged and fun is that it's on the. I think I posted it. I didn't get to video it, but I will video at my next show. Is Pass the Parcel, Cindy. And that was a lot of fun, and it gave people hope that there is fun shows. They're not just about demos.
Elaine, I'm gonna hopefully have you do that Pass the Parcel. Can you wrap up a gift 7 times and bring your poem to the sales meeting?
I definitely can, yes.
Awesome. Because we'll
We
actually
have a
do
director
it.
call soon.
Yes, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the